So let's go to our reporter Syan Vallance now in London. Syan, good morning to you. Can you take us through the reaction across Europe?
Good morning, Bridget. Well, overwhelmingly, leaders are calling for calm amid fears that the conflict could escalate. But a lot of leaders are walking quite a fine line. They haven't condemned the strikes, but they haven't endorsed them either. And that joint statement from the UK, Germany and France really doubled down on Iran never being able to have a nuclear weapon. It's also calling for negotiations and urging Iran not to retaliate. Now, the UK government has confirmed it was given a heads up the strikes were going to happen, but it wasn't involved. Still, its armed forces are on high alert. We know around a week ago they sent jets to the Middle East just as a precautionary measure to protect personnel in the region. And they're reportedly now on high alert for drone swarms from Iran. That's one of the big fears now. Now, Sir Keir Starmer called an emergency Cobra meeting today, which is essentially a gathering of all of his top ministers and of officials in defence and in intelligence, coming together to discuss exactly how they're going to proceed. Of course, that depends on what Iran does next, so there's a lot of uncertainty. And they don't release a statement after having these Cobra meetings, but we'll see what plays out over the next few days. There'll also be an emergency meeting of EU foreign ministers on Monday, and then on Tuesday, of course, is the NATO summit in The Hague. And there's being some questions asked about what happens if Iran does retaliate and strike the US, what sort of obligations that creates for the NATO allies under Article 5. A hypothetical at this stage, of course, but something that leaders really have to consider as we just move into this really uncharted territory, Bridget.
And this comes after top European diplomats met with the Iranian foreign minister on Friday, just trying to get the Iranians back to the negotiating table with the US. Those talks are expected to continue. Do we know whether they will?
We don't. Like many things in this situation, it's incredibly unclear, but it's not looking good. So those talks were again by Germany, France and the UK. And essentially what they were trying to do is get Iran back to the negotiating table and de-escalate the conflict. And while there were no concrete outcomes on Friday, it really sort of came out with a positive vibe, really, because everyone, all parties said this should hopefully be the first step towards a diplomatic solution. Well, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has come out today to say that the US and Israel have blown up any chance of a diplomatic solution. And instead of meeting with those foreign ministers again, he's now on his way to Moscow. This has really brought Iran and Russia closer together, of course, long-time allies. And now he is set to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin sometime on Monday. Take a listen to what the Iranian Foreign Minister had to say a bit earlier.
I'm going to Moscow this afternoon, and I have a meeting with President Putin tomorrow morning. Russia is a friend of Iran, and we enjoy a strategic partnership, and we always consult with each other and coordinate our positions.
So they are long-time allies, and it does appear as though the US strikes have bonded Tehran and Moscow further. We're not sure exactly what will be discussed at the meeting. It's just one more uncertainty as we move forward and leaders try to quell fears and de-escalate what is a really uncertain conflict.